This video is designed to show you how to walk through this first lesson in Module 1 on creating a new form. So as you've most likely noticed, each lesson is set up with an overview, an assignment, and then some instructions. So in this example, and each lesson will be slightly different on what instructions are offered, you could click on this link to open a document that has step-by-step instructions on how to complete the assignment. You could would watch a video that walks you through the process of creating this assignment for this lesson. Some of the lessons will have a Google presentation with some links on it that shows you how to also complete the skills necessary for the assignment. So they're not all exactly the same, but the format is the same, which has an overview, the assignment, and then instructions to help you complete the assignment successfully. So this one's on creating a new form, and it's over basic user information. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm in my Drive. I'm going to close some of my tabs here. And then in my Drive, I want to make sure I'm in my class folder. So I'm going to click twice and open my class folder. And the reason I'm doing that is so that when I create my new form, it will automatically be saved in my class folder, making it easy for me to find and for later purposes if I need to. I'm going to go to the New button. I don't see Google Form here, but I see an option that says More, and I go over to Google Forms. The first thing I want to do is make sure I'm naming my form. So this up here is a file name. This is what I would see inside of my class folder. This is Module 1. And this is just, this short form is just some basic information that I want from my audience. If you're working with students, it will be basic student information. If you're working with adults, it would be basic teacher staff information. Now this is the form title, which is what people will see when they complete your survey or your form. So if I just click, it automatically assumes that I want these to be the same. I don't necessarily have to be the same. So if I didn't want to see the Module 1 information there, I could just delete it here. So this is the file name. This is the form name. This is what people will see when they complete your form. So I'm ready to put in my questions. So it always starts with an untitled question. I just click and I can type in the information I want. Again, this is basic information, so I want to know the person's first name. And Google's going to anticipate what they think the answer choice should be. So they're assuming I want it to be short answer. If I didn't, I can just simply change it to one of the others. I do want this to be required, which means they can't submit the form until they give me their first name. So I'm going to turn on this required button here in the lower right-hand corner. Now I'm ready to ask for their last name. And the reason I'm asking for them separately is because down the road in the class, you're going to learn how to sort and filter information. And so having the last name as a separate field or a separate column will help me to do that more easily. I can add a question here. And now I'm going to ask for their last name. Again, I want that to be required also, so that they can't submit the form unless they give me the information. The other way I know it's required is it has a little red star at the end of it. So that's a quick way for me to visually tell whether it's a required question. Now there's another way to create a question. If they're all fairly similar, I can just duplicate the question and then change the actual text here. So if I'm working with students, I might want this student number. Now you can change these up to match your requirements. So, but if you're not sure how you're going to use this, then just go ahead and use the same questions I'm asking. Now, because I duplicated it, it's already set as required, and it's already a short answer. Let me do one more. I might want the student email address. Again, because I duplicated, then it's going to be set as required. Now, if it wasn't critical that I have their email address, I could turn that one off for that one. But for these purposes, for basic information, I probably want all of this information. We're going to talk about enable email collection settings later, so we're not going to do that right now. But I am going to show you down next to where it says required, there are 3 dots. That means there's more information. I can add an additional description here. So I can, if it helps to clarify what I'm looking for, that would be called adding the description. Or I can set up a response validation. So email address is not a number, it's actually text. And I want it to be an email address. So what that does is it helps ensure that people are giving you the information that you need or want for your forms, your surveys. Okay. Now, again, if you're working with adults, instead of a student number, you might want to know what site they're working at, or what grade level they're teaching, or what subject they're teaching. But you might go ahead and collect the email address just to make it easier to do some things later on. So anyway, at least have 4 questions. You may have 1 or 2 more. If you know there's basic information you collect on each student for any survey that they submit for you, then go ahead and add it here. But do have at least 4. All right, so it's all looking good. Now I want to make sure that I want to see what it looks like from the end user's viewpoint. So I'm going to preview this form. And this is this eyeball right here. It says preview. And it's going to open the form in a new tab, just like the end user would see. So do this for every form before you submit it. It'll help you catch little mistakes that you don't realize that you've made and that you might have to fix and resubmit. So it'll help you on resubmitting assignments. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in some information. Student number and email address. So I'm just going to make something up here. Now, if I forgot to put that @ symbol, because that's what this validation is looking for, and I went to submit it, it says it must be a valid email address. Now, it doesn't really know that that's a valid email address or not. What it's looking for is that I put the @gmail.com or @nv.ccsd.net. That's what it's looking for. Again, that's called validation. So I'm going to go ahead and submit it. And everything seems to have been sent correctly. Later on, I can delete that entry if I want to, but it's important to walk through each of your forms to make sure that that you don't have any weird questions in there or any untitled questions, things like that before you submit it. All right, so now I need to submit my form for class in Canvas. So I'm going to go to the Send button. I'm not going to be emailing the instructor. I'm going to be creating a link that I can paste into Canvas. So I click on the link icon. It creates the URL. I'm just going to copy. And now I'm ready to go to Canvas to submit that. So I'm going to go ahead. I can close that at this point in time if I want. That's found under the menu. Again, link, copy. I go into Canvas. I go down to the bottom. I'm in as a student sample here. Click the next page, and now I'm ready to submit my work. If there's a red E, it means that you can look at an example of what I'm looking for. I might have some additional information here, and then there will be a rubric telling what I'm looking for also. So those are also clues of what that instructor is looking for when they grade your assignments. I'm going to click Submit Assignment, scroll down, website URL is selected, and just paste. If you want, you can add a comment, and that's something the instructor will see. Submit assignment. So you've created your first form, you've submitted the URL in Canvas, and you're ready to move on to the next lesson. Up in the upper right-hand corner, it tags the date and time that you selected it. If you want to see what it looks like in Canvas, this is what the instructor will see. And so the instructor would click on one of these links to view your form that you submitted. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to working with you during this class.